What's up, YouTube? I'm the Calcar131, and this is the Ohhunt RDU1 red dot. So there I were, end of August 2023 as of recording, and I was perusing the Ohhunt website, looking for what new cheap Chinese knockoff gear they might have produced, and I came across an item, red dot, that had a strange badge in the corner. It said lifetime warranty. For those of you that have never heard of Ohhunt, they're exactly what I said. They produce cheap Chinese knockoffs. Not the sort of thing I would ever expect them to have a lifetime warranty on. So, long story short, I emailed them to find out more information about the lifetime warranty, and, again, long story short, they ended up sending me this red dot for free. So, disclaimer, it feels weird to say this. I've never had to say this before. Disclaimer, Ohhunt did send me this red dot completely for free. However, I want to assure you that's not going to influence how I treat it, how I treated it, or how I review it. So right off the bat, let's go over the warranty on the Ohhunt RDU1. My cheat sheet out here. Try I don't get this wrong. So, the lifetime warranty, not gonna lie, not a really big fan of it. It's my personal opinion. What it does cover, their lifetime warranty, material and workmanship defects. What it doesn't cover, product loss, theft, deliberate damage, abuse, misapplication, modification, or the electronics. That's a pretty big disparity in what it does not cover. It does not cover, obviously, if you lose it, if someone steals it, deliberate damage and abuse. It's kind of open-ended, I think, but if they determine that what you did to it was deliberate, or you abused it on purpose, or you misapplied it, you're not covered. Modification, I even checked. Spray painting it counts as modification. Electronics. If this thing just up and dies one day, change the battery, it's still dead, chances are you're screwed because they don't cover the electronics in it. What they do cover is material and workmanship defaults. I don't know what that really means, to be totally honest. It sounds to me like the sort of thing that if you get it and like the material, the housing is cracked or something, I guess they'd cover that. But that's also the sort of thing that you would probably see as soon as you get it. So, I mean, it's nice to have, and to be completely fair, they might be more lenient about this if you actually email them and try to use their lifetime warranty. I'm just going off of what the HR, I guess, whoever, the representative, whoever it was I was talking to, sent me. So, when you first get your Ohhunt RDU1 red dot, you are greeted with a box that is shockingly similar to Hollow Suns. How I've gotten some Hollow Suns in the past. But, get some of the specs here. Some of the important features here, which I'll go over in more detail later, or in some cases testing. Some other specs here, trying to get it to focus, hopefully it's focused. 3 MOA dot, on the highest brightness it says it has 2,000 hours. On the lowest level it has over 50,000. The auto off, 6061 T6 aluminum, 67 IP67 waterproof, yada yada. For RMSC footprint, and it has a Picatinny mount. So, open this up. Nice little blacked out kind of graphic there. I actually kind of like that. Foam. A manual. This shocked the hell out of me. It's Ohhunt. It's not a high-end company. I'm sorry, it's just not. They have a fucking color manual. It's insane. The standards I had going into this, and I haven't used it at all. This is literally a couple days after I got it, but a fucking color manual. I'll have to do more research into it. I've only looked at it briefly. I don't think I've even seen very much English. English, for the record, being when companies that are Chinese, they'll take whatever their Chinese instructions are, run it through like a fucking Google Translate into English, and they'll just use that, and that's when there's a lot of like grammatical and little like syntax errors. Some of the specs, you can pause this and look at it. I'll go into more detail and testing on some of these later, but silica packet. There's a little microfiber cloth for cleaning it. Has a battery, CR2032 battery. Interestingly, I thought this was weird. Like, could you standardize on like one type or one size? Because they include they include 3 Allen wrenches, and then you get nothing else in the box. You get the lidocite. Pop it open. It looks pretty good, honestly, for again being Ohhunt. Thought there might have been a chip or as is here to help. Thought there might be a chip or something up there, but I don't think so. I think it's just the edge of the lens. These screws are actually tightened down pretty good. I mean, again, my lack of expectation is showing here. I wouldn't have been surprised if this was loose. But yeah, no, this one at least that I'm still trying to work on is actually pretty freaking tight. Question is, and there's thread locker on it. That is amazing. Oh, well, that's not good. This is the first time I've taken this off, okay, for the record. Very unfortunate happenstance here. It turns out this isn't covered in any way at all. There's a little O-ring here. If I can get this freaking thing to focus. There's an O-ring that goes around the battery compartment, okay? That's wonderful. But it's obviously only going to work whenever it's on a mount. I'm not sure how well that O-ring will seal when it's on a gun like my Taurus GX4. So that is not a good start. So I have it turned down as far as I can make it go. And then we have 1, 2, 3. Start to see it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let us see if I can get it on camera. Will it be washed out by a weapon light? No, you can still see the dot. Just so you guys can see a visual difference between a Holosun 507K X2 and the Ohhunt RDU1. The Ohhunt, when I get to the durability testing, assuming it survives that far, I'm not real confident, just basing off of how thick that metal looks, but you can see how that O-ring doesn't seem to go all the way around there at the end, but it's kind of how they visually compare. Ohhunt RDU1 with a battery weight, half an ounce, 0.6, 0.7 now, 0.7 ounces. Oh, no, I lied, 0.6. For those of you that don't use freedom measurements, that's 18 grams. Holosun 507K, a full ounce, or 28 grams. One of the features they advertise is a shake awake version. A lot of red dots have that, a variation of it at this point, really. and it works. It seems to work perfectly fine. I did quite a few tests of, I had it in some instances locked in a vise. There were some instances where I just had it mounted on a gun, laying on a table, and then I would try and grab it as quick as I can to try to outrun it, or I'd try to pick it up as slowly as I can to see if I could trick it, to see if it would not notice that it was being moved. I never did. So the shake awake feature certainly does seem to work. After 2 minutes, it'll put itself to sleep, save you some battery life. Note on the battery life, it lists at full brightness 2,000 hours. I don't know about that. I do know it is, as of right now, middle of January 2024. I got this around the end of August 2023. I've had it on full brightness, 100% the entire time, and I haven't had to change the battery. While we're making a note of brightness, I am very happy to report that it's a cheap Chinese product. I wasn't really expecting this, but it was daylight bright. I never had any issues with how bright it was, no matter if it was full sunlight in Texas, you know. I never had any issues. So as far as my actual testing of the Ohhunt RD-U1, I started out with just using it. I put it on my daily carry, a Taurus GX4. I put it on, for a little bit, a Taurus TX22 compact, and total between the two, I got around 700, 750, something like that rounds, about 200 of which were only 22 long rifle, but there was about a solid 500 rounds that were 9mm on, again, the GX4, which is a smaller, more compact slide, so in theory it should be snapping back a bit harder. And I had no issues. I didn't seem to lose zero at any point through any of it. I was pretty shocked. It's Ohhunt. It didn't just fall off. It didn't break just from shooting. It, shockingly, I would say, survived all of the just standard shooting I put it through. After I was done with that, again, roughly something like 750 rounds, I decided to test another claim they have. They claim that it can withstand up to 1,000 Gs of impact force. I have no idea what 1,000 Gs is. I couldn't find like some convenient calculator that you just like put in the weight of whatever you're dealing with and it'll tell you how high to drop it. It would have been convenient, but I don't know how to test 1,000 Gs of impact force. But they have a picture in there that shows they have a picture that shows a whole bunch of different weapon platforms. So I took that to kind of mean that basically it can handle recoil. I decided, can't talk. So I decided to test that. After I was done, with the other pistol rounds, I mounted it on a 20-inch AR upper. I did a zero group, which you should be seeing right now. After I zeroed it, I then mag dumped two full magazines through the AR upper. I then mounted it up on a Panzer Arms M4, and I shot 5 rounds of 3-inch Magnum slugs and 5 rounds of 2 3/4 double-aught buck, full power, not reduced power or anything, not reduced recoil. So 10 rounds, mag dump, tube dump, I don't know, of a 12 gauge. Then I mounted it up on my Nemo XO, which is an AR-10 308, and I mag dumped 2 20-round magazines through that. After that, I mounted it back up on my AR-15 upper, and I shot a second group, which you should be seeing right now. Now, if you look at the 2 zero groups, you could say the before and after, you could say that it did shift a little bit after I did the mag dumps. By maybe like ½ an inch. There was barely any difference at all. So if you want to say it did fail that, go ahead. The only disclaimers I will add in there, disclaimers aka excuses, it was about 33, 34 degrees in Illinois with wind, and the platform that I was shooting on, I don't know if you noticed, it wasn't the most stable, so those are my excuses. That small of a difference, average between the two groups, I would almost be willing to say it was more me and not so much the optic failing. If you disagree, go ahead. After that, I decided to test the waterproofing. It claims to be IP67 rated. IP67 means it should be good down to 1 meter, roughly 3 feet, for 30 minutes. Now, as I went over in the unboxing, I did not trust this little O-ring around the battery compartment. Didn't trust it at all. I've seen the quality of some other Ohhunt O-rings. It's not great. So I decided to do it in increments. I did a 30-minute test at 1 foot, 2 foot, and 3 feet. And I'll openly admit I am shocked to have to say it survived all 3. Even after 3 feet at 30 minutes, it survived. I unmounted it and I took a picture of it, but after all 3 of them, actually, the O-ring did its job. It kept the water out of the battery compartment. So it did pass the IP67 rating. Now we come to durability. This one, I had even less confidence in than the waterproof testing. So my semi-ish standardized durability testing consists of 3 stages. 1, a Traxxas test. 2, running it over with my truck. And 3, just straight drop testing. So I decided to do... So for the Traxxas test, I normally do roughly the equivalent of about 200 yards-ish, something like that. Because this is an optic that, because of the size, I think it's pretty clearly not meant for like hard use, duty use, go to war type use. I decided to bump it down, and it was something, I want to say, I believe, closer to like 150-ish yards. I just drove it up and down my driveway, which is roughly from one end to the other about 25 yards. It even got a little bit more water testing whenever I accidentally lost my Traxxas Hoss in a ditch that had some water in it. So it got another little dunk, but it survived that. After all of that, I am shocked to say it, again, survived. There might have been a small little chip and a crack up in the very top corner, but it didn't crack, it didn't break, it was still on. After that, I ran it over with my Silverado, and once again, I was shocked to admit it survived. I normally only do it once, one time forward and backwards. I did it a second time just to make sure. I was fully, I can't express this enough, I was fully expecting this to just shatter when I ran it over with my truck, and it didn't. How much of that had to do with the mount being on it, because the mount is slightly bigger than the optic itself, I don't know, but it was the same exact way, roughly the same size difference as if it was on a firearm, so I figured it was a pretty close comparison. And I ended it with drop testing. I once again had it just on the Picatinny mount, and I dropped it at waist high for a couple times and then shoulder high for a couple times. I was blown away when it didn't just shatter again. However, it did come to my attention that the mount weighs more than the optic, so every time it was falling, or at least most of the times, I'm pretty sure the mount was falling and hitting the concrete first. So I did what I didn't want to do, went back in, remounted it on my GX4, and then I did some drops, and that was about more what I expected. Yep. That was it. One drop. It's not dead, it just shifted a bunch. That's that. So in the end, I did succeed in shattering my RDU-1. Ironically, actually, it still works. I can still, if I angle it right, I can still see a little red dot shining, but there's not much lens for it to reflect on. So it failed the durability testing. Is that the end of the world? It depends, I think. So kind of going into my final opinions on the RDU-1, For the use that I would put this towards, no, I don't think that's the end of the world. I would never, sorry Ohhunt if you're watching this, I would never trust this for concealed carry or any kind of serious use. I just wouldn't. Ohhunt is a cheap company, they're Chinese, they don't have any track record of reliability. I would never trust Ohhunt anything really for any serious use. However, putting this on just a range gun, believe it or not, guys, it's okay just to have plinkers that are you only use for fun. Putting this on a range gun, maybe you have a gun that accepts red dots and you're looking to kind of try it out because you've never done it before. This would be a great option for that, I think. Or 22s, again, just like taking them to the range, like that TX22 that I tried this on for a little bit. That's a pretty good pairing, I think. If you're just going to use it for plinking, that is exactly where I think the Ohhunt RD-U1 really shines. So as long as you understand the inherent limitations of the RD-U1, don't expect it to be bomb-proof, go-to-war quality. But as long as you're just putting it on like a plinker, I actually have to give it a thumbs up. I think it 100% surpassed my expectations. That's exactly what role I plan on putting it into. My mother has a 22 that she just takes to the range to plink. She loves it. I'm going to install an RD-U1 on it just to make it that little bit more fun. So if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Tell me in the comments below, do you agree with my overall sort of assessment of the RD-U1, or do you disagree and you think it's an overpriced paperweight? Tell me in the comments down below. I appreciate it. I'm the Calcar 131, signing off.